Like, what would you say was like your biggest adjustment, like going from college to your rookie year?
Biggest adjustment for me was the game was it was slower, but it was faster, right?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So faster in terms of, you know, in college, what we play, college, the game, you know, you would have longer half court sets, right? Work the ball, opposite side, come back. Like there was actual, you know, you were trying to get the best shot, which you are in the NBA. But the NBA is you got your stars, they play at their pace. Everyone plays around them. The game, you get up and down a lot quicker. But for the stars who know how to, you know, control the pace of the game, they play slow. They play at their pace. They play at their speed. So it's kind of you know, it's kind of you know, opposite when I said fast and slow.
Yeah.
But if you wrap your mind around that, you'll see it like, oh, okay, this is what he meant. But you know, you'll be a star. Like you'll figure out the pace that you're gonna play at, and the team will follow. That's the best way that I could probably answer that question.
All right.
He's all confused now, but that's
it'll make sense when you get to the league. Like,
I gotta see. I mean, Luka plays slow.
Luka plays slow,
but he's fast.
Yeah.
But his decisions, but I mean, he plays fast because his decisions are quick. Like he plays at his speed, but his decisions are fast. So it makes like he's always in attack mode. You don't know what he's gonna do. Like his decision making is sharp. And that's the prime example of what I meant. Like the game is fast, but it's slow because you got to pick up and read things on the fly. And he's one of the best to do that. So. Yeah, he's a prime example of that.
Pete, can you give Alex some advice on the business aspect of being in the NBA so when he get there, he know what to do?
Business-wise, advice on just how the league works. I was always told this, and it stuck with me at an early age and all the way through my career, is whatever team drafts you, obviously you play for them, but you got to understand you play for the other 29 teams as well. And what I mean by that is they all talk. So what you do on a daily basis, other teams are going to know about. If it comes a moment where they decide they don't want you there anymore and they decide to move on, or however way it may be, they ultimately have the deciding factor of how your future is going to look. Because if you come in, you're not a hard worker, you don't, you know, you're not a good locker room guy. All of that stuff is being reported back to other teams. And so you're going to have, as much as the stuff that you travel with, you're going to have extra luggage with you as well with the team. And so that was a key lesson, I think, for me on just how to carry myself as a professional early on. And then I think, you know, another tough business was just, it goes quick, like it goes fast. 1 minute you build relationships with this player and this team and you think you're going to play with this team forever. I remember I was sad, not necessarily sad, but it was kind of like a wake-up call when I played on my summer league team.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking these is gonna be my guys for forever, right? And like I was kind of just clueless to the process. You know, I knew who was on the main Pacers team, but when I was playing the summer league team, I was like, okay, like these is my guys. Like, and then it was just a quick, like, nah, like I've never seen any one of those people ever a day in my life again. And so it just goes to tell you or show you that, you know, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process, enjoy your teammates, enjoy the grind with those teammates, because at some point you might not play with them.
Yeah.
The gooder relationship you build with them, you might not see them or be teammates with them. So I think just seize every moment that you can out of every team that you're on, because you don't get a redo. You know what I mean? Fact of the matter is you don't get a second chance at none of this.
Yeah.
So that was a very valuable lesson that I had to learn as well.
And don't hang with no knuckleheads.
Don't drink at halftime. Shout out.
You know, just in your first, like the rookie year, your second year, your third year, what was the biggest, not so much the change from college to the league, but like what's the biggest thing that you had to get better at, or you were able to watch and grow at as a player in those 3 years?
I think, you know, it's funny that Alex Sarr was on the show earlier and asked the same question as well.
That's crazy.
It is just such an adjustment from college to the NBA, from the point of the pace of the game. The pace of the game is just that much different than college. College, you guys are used to, a set offense, running through an offense, using the clock. And you get, 30, 35 seconds on the clock to run a play, whereas the NBA is 24 seconds, but very rarely is the offense ran down to 24 seconds. Usually, especially you look at teams like Indiana with how quick they play, their first action starts at like 21 on the clock, 22 on the clock. They're getting that ball advanced pretty quick. So the pace of the game is definitely a change from the college to the NBA. And then when you recognize the spacing on the floor, it's just a lot more spacing on the floor to operate. And whether you're on offense or defense, if you're a defender, it's more space for the offensive player to kind of make something happen. And if you're on offense, it's more space for you to make something happen. And so I think that was one thing that I realized once I got, comfortable with my game and worked on my game, and how to utilize the space at that point. And then, I think it's just the comfortability. Am I killing that word?
I like it. I can't say what's
Let's just say
pendulum?
getting comfortable behind the 3-point line is something that is very important, because I think, obviously you can get better as a shooter, but the non-shooter stigma kind of sticks with you in the NBA and it travels a long ways. And so I think the more you can get comfortable behind that line, the better your game and the more your game will open up. So I think all of those 3 key pieces were something that I picked up in my early stage in my career and kind of helped catapult my confidence to get me to where I was at.
And don't be afraid to ask nobody no questions.
I got you. And then I got just one more. Like going into like whatever team drafts me, like going into like the first week of practice or whatever it is, what advice would you give to like kind of getting yourself like into the team and like instead of just like being the rookie that like is kind of staying out of it or not like trying to get into the team more? I don't know how I'm trying to say that, but like
yeah, no, I love that question.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that question. I think, and I tell the rookies this, right? Because you got veterans that will be on the team, but they're comfortable being on the team and they don't want any parts of the practice, any parts of the workouts, any parts of the drills. Like you'll see veterans on teams that kind of are fine being the 15th, 14th guy on the team, right? So I used to tell the rookies this all the time, like, you get into drills, you get into the second unit, you like, until a veteran say like, yo, young fella, like until they pull you out, you know what I mean? Don't necessarily assume because you're a rookie, you have to be behind veterans or you have to be the third string or you have to be in the third unit. Like force your way into those, drills. You can be a leader as a rookie. You can still have that positive effect being the youngest player on the team. That was kind of how I pursued my rookie season. I wanted to be in every drill. I wanted to win every drill. I showed up early for practice. I stayed late. I asked questions. I got comfortable with the veterans. I wanted them to be comfortable around me because I was the youngest. So it wasn't a lot kind of common areas for us because, a lot of, when I first got in the league, I had veterans that had families that had, mid-aged kids. And so there was a little barrier between myself and my teammates. But what I did most was I wasn't afraid to ask questions. I wasn't afraid to kind of stay after and hang with them and kind of just show that, I want to do whatever I can to make this team successful as I can. So I think just, picking up on those things, you being a point guard, I think naturally is your calling to kind of be a connector. And so just, embrace that and own that. And like I said, just don't be afraid to kind of be a leader.
I got you. Appreciate it.
You'll find guys gravitate towards that.
It's only 2 you got with good questions, Reed.
Yeah, I got you. Appreciate you.
What was your pre-draft process like?
Tough. Pre-draft process was tough. I mean, you got to imagine I wasn't slated in the top 20 picks, 25 picks. I was like a late first round to early second round. So my process was a little tough. I had 18 workouts. I started working out in the early second round. Then I started working out for the late first round, then the middle of the first round. And then after I made so much, traction in the draft, it was a period where I was only working out for the lottery teams because I worked my way all the way down to the lottery team. So the process for me was tough, but I enjoyed the process. Like for me, my chip on the shoulder was, I watched all these guys work out in college or play, in their college games. And, I felt like I had the advantage because I knew what to expect going into these workouts. I've seen them on TV. I watched some of their games. Mm-hmm. They didn't know who I was. And so when I got into these workouts, I was the best player that was in shape. I was the hardest worker. And then I had a skill set to surround all of that. So it was kind of cakewalk. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cakewalk. Mm-hmm. And then in the draft process, it'll be different for you because you might only work out for 2 or 3 teams. But I kept seeing the same people in these workouts. So there was a familiarity like, yeah, him, got him. So I felt good about the process when I was going through it, but it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. I felt like I was in the league already because I was traveling from one city to the next city to go work out for this team, staying in this hotel. And so, that was outside of college, that was really my first time being out and away from family, being on my own. So that was like a growing up period alone just for me. Yep. Being in that setting. So yeah, it was good stress. Mm-hmm. I won't lie and say it was stress. It wasn't stressful, but I think it was good stress. It was a make or break type of situation. And, obviously I was ready for it.
Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason.
You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and baseball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. I can make my picks, Dallas can make his pick, and guess what? We can submit our entry in less than 60 seconds on PrizePicks.
Download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, go download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Chitta, 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 ching, ching.